It's all going down in Newcastle.
You don't want to miss this one.
Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Kugan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
you get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.
This is Umar Ahmed for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Well, Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois have done all their media stuff. The Poland press conference when I was out there was, pretty tame, to be honest. It got a little bit more spicy and interesting today, I thought, especially with you and Aegis.
Well, I was willing to give the age away.
What did you make of Don Charles and Daniel? Very confident today, Frank.
Well, I'm confident. Otherwise, I wouldn't have let him take the fight. He's very up for it. Obviously, his trainers really fancies the job, like myself, and so does Daniel. So we've got to just keep him focused on it, and I believe he will win this fight.
Usyk is definitely not overlooking Daniel Dubois. He's a proper champion.
No, he's not. Definitely not.
But there does seem to be a slight feeling of, let's just get this one out of the way from their team.
Good. That's what we want. Let them have that mentality. I don't think so. I certainly don't believe that from Usyk. Usyk knows he's got to fight.
Does he have to put it on him straight away, Frank?
Who?
Daniel.
He's got to go out and be sensible. You know, it's not a one-round tear-up. He's got to go out and he's got to be he's got to impose himself. He's big. He's got to use his attributes, which is his strength, his jab, the power that he's got. And he's faster than people are saying. I mean, when people are talking about he's slow, I mean, I don't know where that's come from, but whatever, he's got to do that.
Where would this rank if he did pull it off in terms of British wins?
For me, it's a win, and it's a big win. But it's, for a lot of people, I suppose they'll feel it's a massive shock because of the comments that you say are being made. But for me, it won't be a shock at all.
Well, I think for most people, it would be Hunnigan, Curry territory.
No, well, you know, if it's that, it's that. But for me, it wouldn't be that.
Okay, well, that's live August 26th. If you can't
but you know,
go on, Frank.
People say, why do I feel this way about it? And and it's a couple of reasons. One, I've watched him a lot, Usyk. I've watched these fights back quite a few times, and he's a tremendous cruiserweight. You know, the best in the last 20-odd years, no doubt about that. But you look at the guys he's fought. Witherspoon made his debut against Witherspoon. Witherspoon's was a good first fight for him as to coming up in weight, up to heavyweight, and did what he had to do. Derek Chisora, same Derek Chisora who fought Tyson. Derek gave him a tough fight for eight or so rounds, a very tough fight. He was there at the end, and that was a tough fight for him. And then you got AJ twice. First fight he didn't show up. Second fight he showed up a little bit more, but he's not the fighter he was. We've seen that. He's not. When have you seen him, AJ, in any sparkling form? When was the last time you see him absolutely, in sparkling form?
Well, he knocked out Pulev, you could say.
How long ago was that?
2 years ago, lockdown.
Lockdown.
Yeah.
He knocked out Pulev. How old was Pulev?
38, 39.
Oh, whatever it was. Anyway, he done that. But other than that, and you look at his recent fights, and he's looked very average. And he's on his own. Out of his own mouth, he said his last fight, he said he was dreadful. But parking it all up, he's now in with a guy who I think this guy, I'm thinking Daniel, is someone who is going to test to see how good he is. Because he's a live fighter. He's a young fighter. He's not a journeyman. He's not somebody who don't want to be there. He wants to be there. He's asked for the fight.
The occasion won't get to him, will it?
We'll find out on the night. I don't think it will, but we'll find out on the night. But as I say, he's got everything he needs to have. He's got to beat him.
Well, that's live on TNT Sports Box Office.
It is, yeah.
But if you fancy a trip to Poland, well, get that done, get your flights booked and see Daniel and Usyk there. Right, let's come on to the big news, Frank. Tyson Fury against Francis Ngannou in Riyadh, October 28th. Is this not dangerous for Ngannou?
Dangerous for who?
Ngannou.
Well, every time any fighters get in the ring is dangerous, especially when two men are throwing bombs. They're always dangerous. But it's a great event. This is the biggest event I've ever been involved in.
Really?
Yeah, it's a huge event. Of course it is. It's a huge, huge event. It's opening up the Riyadh season. You know, they've made it happen. His Excellency and the Doctor have made this event happen. It's a massive, massive event. Yesterday, number one trender on Twitter was Tyson. Number two is Ngannou. That's the public. That's the public, not just a few guys who just don't, you know, I don't know what you want to call them, purist or whatever. This is the general public. It's a massive, massive event, huge event.
But as a boxing fan like yourself, a pure boxing fan, does it really interest you, Frank?
Yeah, of course it does. It's a big event. It's going to be a real big, big event. And as far as I'm concerned, it's going to be one of the, as I say, it's going to be the biggest event I've ever been involved in. That's what this is going to do. Box office records, everything will get broken.
But from a sporting point of view, I'm talking about.
Sorry?
From a sporting point of view.
Of course. What, you're saying Nganou's not a sportsman?
No,
Is he not the best? Is he not the best heavyweight in his combat sport?
From what I know, I don't watch UFC.
Well, nor do I, but
obviously
I've
he's the
watched
best.
it. I've been watching the tapes of him. Is he not good? Is he not in the Guinness Book of Records for being the
He is
hardest?
the hardest
Well, there
one.
you go.
But-
This is massive.
But Frank,
Massive.
we're talking about the best heavyweight of our generation in
Yeah,
Tyson Fury.
I agree with that.
Against someone who's never boxed.
We're talking about against a guy who you know he's got to come to fight, and he will do. It'll be exciting.
But if we're saying this is an event, it's a global event, everyone's making big money from it.
Yeah.
That's fine, I think, with fans. But if you're selling it as a sporting competitive event, then people obviously question that, Frank.
I'm selling this as a massive event between the two best of their respective sports. And if people don't watch it, then that speaks volumes. But let me ask you a question. So if it does all the numbers that are expected, what does that make it?
It makes it a big event.
That's all we need to know then, isn't it? Because you know what they're called? Professional sportsmen. It's a huge, huge event. Are you going?
I will be covering it
Why is that?
because it will do good numbers for us.
And it's, oh, will it? Why would people want to watch
Massive
that?
numbers, of course.
Because it's a big event. No matter which way you dress it up, this is a massive, massive event.
We saw this happen before with Floyd Mayweather, obviously greatest at his weight, a bit like Tyson.
How old
Fury.
is Floyd?
Well, it was after the Berto fight, so yeah, he was obviously late 30s.
Harold?
Floyd,
Oh, was he? I thought he was older than that.
maybe young 40s as well.
Anyway,
but,
do you know what?
But Conor didn't really do anything in that fight, did he? With Floyd.
Connor's, I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest, I didn't watch it. So all I know is this is something that we work very hard on to make happen. It's something Tyson has made happen. Everybody concerned has made happen. And it's happening for a reason, because everybody knows how big it is. And it's opening the Riyadh season. It's opening it. That's how big it is.
Frank, if Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn had struck a deal with Francis Ngannou, would you give them stick for it?
No, because at the end of the day, I've got to agree with what Eddie Hearn said at the time when he was trying to make it. He said, if we make this fight, it's going to be a massive, massive event. Did he not say that?
On Fight Hub, he did, yeah.
Well, there you go. You know something? He was right. It's a massive event. But it's even bigger now. You know why it's bigger? Because Tyson's undefeated.
What about Alex Krassyuk, promoter of Alexander Usyk, saying Tyson should be stripped of his WBC title?
Well, he's entitled to his opinion. He should have taken the fight. Now he's got his fight with Daniel. Daniel, I think, will beat him. But he's got his fight. He was sitting there waiting for a fight to happen in December. He thought that he would, you know... And I've got to tell you something. I've got this... I think I've got it on my phone somewhere. I'm going to show
What's
you this.
that?
Hold this.
1 second.
Hold this. Because you keep banging on about this, and I've got to tell you how it is, if I can find it. I don't know if you can hear this. I'm going to tell you.
I'll put it to the mic.
Right, okay.
Listen, Omar, we do everything possible to get Tyson Fury in the ring.
At this point, they've had no formal written offer from Skills Challenge about Fury v Usyk.
According to my knowledge, they will receive a formal written offer very soon. It's an offer, or take it or leave it.
That was last month,
That was beginning of June.
June 5th.
Okay.
I did that interview, yeah.
After we'd made offers and we were going to put the fight on over here, which they accepted, then pulled out because they thought it was going to happen. Haven't had an offer. Where's the offer? We've had no offer. So we'll still be here scratching our backsides waiting for it to happen. It's not happened because they've never made an offer. The only people who've made an offer for this fight to happen is us. No one else. Nobody else. I defy anybody to show us an offer this year for that fight to happen. And if they show it to us, we'll donate £1 million to charity. Nothing, not a single offer has been made.
Is that the same with Joshua?
Same with Joshua. They've never made an offer. We've made offers to them, 60-40, you know all that. And I don't want to keep going over it. So we move on. We move on with the biggest attraction in boxing, heavyweight boxing, biggest attraction. Fought in Vegas, last fight he had with Deontay, broke all boxing office records in Vegas for any heavyweight fight. Purse bid against Dillian, broke the record for a purse bid. The fight was on at Wembley. 94,000 people, generated more people and more money for a one-off event than any event at Wembley's ever been. They're facts. This is the guy who's got a series going out on Netflix in next month. Start of his series. He's huge, he's massive. That's what he is. These guys have got it wrong because we didn't feel anything was going to happen this year and we was proved right. And you go back and look at your interviews, all the haters and whatever, go and listen to them because what have I said to you all along? What have I said to you?
That it's not going to happen in December.
Thank you. And it's not.
Yeah.
It's not now. It's been confirmed it's not. Where we are now is with a massive, massive event. So we bypass that. We move on. We move on to events. We're creating events. Huge events. If we weren't doing that, we'd be sitting here scratching our backsides, as I said.
Who have you done this event with, Frank, in Saudi? Just talk to me about that.
It's done with through His Excellency and through Dr. Raka. And that's who we've done it with. It's a huge, huge event, and we're delighted to be working with them. They're just been brilliant. Everything they said they'd do, they've done and delivered for us.
Just lastly, BT need you. So could we see Tyson in future fights with these guys in Riyadh, potentially?
We'll see. Well, look, we love them because they delivered. They delivered. And they're behind it. There's a fight going on in Riyadh this year. In October, there's a fight going on. And they made it happen with Tyson.
Thank you for your time, Frank.
You're welcome.
It's all going down in Newcastle.
You don't want to miss this one.
Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Kugan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
You get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.